Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to John and Dylan Online, a show where two gross comedians talk about internet history. I'm Dylan Gott. Joining me, co-host for the show, John Hastings, is going to introduce this week's subject.
Oh my God, we are heading back in our time machine, which is, of course, our gaming chairs covered in cum, dry though, not wet, not wet cum, and heading back to the gushiest of all years. It's 2006, and we are discussing the Rosie O'Donnell Donald Trump feud.
Oh, hell yeah. This is the
Get
first
the
time.
big dogs.
This is the first time I remember, at least, Donald Trump just being like, hey, this is how I talk. And then he applied this to politics, which is so funny because it's like, she's got a fat head. She's disgusting.
It's literally, he has not changed his game plan. Like, it literally is the 2016 election 10 years beforehand. Like, it's literally like, she got a fat head. I hate fat heads. Also, that's bad. And everyone's like, retort, Rosie? And she's just like, I'm allowed to say whatever I want. Donald, the frigid bitch is being cold. That's what I told you. Like, it's just so fucking crazy. Also, Rosie, there's so much. It's everything.
Well, this is like a real version of, you know how like in stand-up shows, obviously the comedian always has the advantage because we have a microphone and they don't. This would be like if you heckled a total Karen and then they also had a microphone. That's literally what happens.
No,
like it's literally like when you're like, oh, you do some crowd work, you get a big rip on them, which Rosie did on Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump, which the version of it would be a girl, and this has happened to me so many times where I'll make fun of a woman, she says something dumb, and then she goes, well, you're fat and bald. Which I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, dead on. You didn't. But then that's what Trump does. He goes like, you got a big fat head. You're disgusting. And it's funny because he's talking about it in his stream of consciousness. Like he's thinking of things because he keeps on going, she's fat. Just to be like, all right, I know she's fat. I'll keep calling her fat until she's got a gross head. There you go. Good.
Also, the fat head thing he stole from Howard Stern. The other thing to remember is Rosie O'Donnell had a decades-long feud with Howard Stern that was based off of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell was a lesbian, but said she had a crush on Howard Stern or on Tom Cruise, and Howard Stern was like, "I don't like that. Let's get after her." And he had a giant, a jar in the shape of Rosie O'Donnell's head in his studio, and you could guess how many jelly beans were in there.
Also, you could have probably just stopped at was a lesbian. I think a lot of this was she had the audacity to be a well.
Here's the thing you have to know: if you were, if you're in the media and a lesbian, and it's before the year, I'm going to say it, 2010. Get ready for everyone to be like, so I assume this show is about bean sprouts and pubic hair, and they're like, no, it's a kids show. I just happen to be a lesbian. I don't know how society works anymore. What the fuck is going on?
I mean, that's still, that's back, baby.
Is it? I live in California, so I don't. Yeah, right. I believe you. Yeah, what am I talking about? Of course it is. I heard someone yell.
Two drag queens in Canada who just like have books about like how sharing is good, and people like, I don't like these drag queens. They're fucking trying to poison our goddamn society. And then it's like, they're just saying that sharing is good. No,
they're sharing child porn, these pedophiles. Well, you're saying that as a Catholic, right? You're like, yeah, I don't see any hypocrisy in what I'm saying. For fuck's sake.
Catholics are fucking so dope. It's sick.
So what happens is it's December 2006. Rosie O'Donnell's on The View, and she is serving, speaking of drag queens, piping hot tea. You know what that is, Dylan? It's mean gossip, I think. I'm not really sure.
Let's talk about who these people were beforehand. All right, here's what I want to say. Donald Trump, real estate guy. If you're a Trump person and you're listening to this, I don't know how, but congratulations, you found it, and you're about to be very upset. Obviously, gets handed money by his family, and Donald Trump does the thing that a lot of comedians do, which is he goes, hey, I want to. Here's how it seems like it works from what I've seen about. So the first people immigrate here, and then they want money and basically stability. So they get money and stability, and then the second generation gets rich, and then the third generation is like, well, I'm rich, I want to be known. So then Trump is the third generation where he goes like, I want to be known. Actually, no, he's second generation. So his family fucking just like.
I think he's third. I think his dad was in America and built the real estate business.
Yeah, his dad changes his last name because his name isn't Trump. Like they pick Trump.
Oh
which is
my God, I forgot
genius,
about that. Yeah.
Like literally, Trump is the slang for the like best cards in euchre. So he names himself Donald Winner which is
it would be like if
a great
my family got off the boat from Scotland and they're like, no longer the Hastings. We're the big penises.
we're the big dick lunatics.
Yeah. We're the give us money or you're gonna get fucked up. That family seems intimidating. Yeah, that's what I hear.
So Trump is where his family is rich. He basically spends, because a lot of people say like, well, he could have just lived off interest and had more money. It's like, yeah, he didn't want money. He wanted notoriety. And a lot of people do this where they use their family's money to get more notoriety. So
I will say this. We know a lot of people personally who have wasted family money so much more. We know a guy who went to Edinburgh, pissed out a window for a month, and then just went home. He didn't do any shows.
Yeah, he went out. He had to flyer. He didn't want to do that. So he just left the flyers in the room. This is the thing about people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. First of all, the Elon Musk thing, I listened to Behind the Bastards, very well researched podcast, great podcast. But they were coming down on Elon because it's like, oh yeah, he got 20 G's. So he had a head start, and then that's how he made his obviously he gets more help from his fucking family, but it's like a lot of people get 20 G's and just waste it. This guy like is clearly smart. So
well, the one thing I would say
Donald
this
Trump has charisma. You cannot take that away from
I completely agree. The one thing I will say is it's not like he was left like a pile of money. He was left a full company to run. Like he was literally left a real estate empire. And in Donald Trump's fairness, he had the brilliant idea of partnering with the mafia in the 80s so that all of his buildings would get built. And of course, would then be dilapidated and bad inside. But who gives a fuck? Like that's the thing. Donald Trump had the innovations. He looked and he was like, wait a minute, all I got to do is be associated with the 5 families in New York. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I just got to pay them off forever. Well, it's not a big deal. Like, here is the thing. And also, by the time we get to Donald Trump in 2006, he has been through 3 bankruptcies. He was the joke of the world because he couldn't make casinos work, and then literally rode out that bankruptcy by just continually creating publicity for himself through the New York Post. So he kept getting bank loans because the bankers were like, what's your collateral? He's like, I'm the collateral, baby. This is a mistake. And they're like, he's in every newspaper we read. This guy has to be successful. And then it was like, hey, can you pay for this? And he's like, I cannot. And they were like, he got us again. Fuck. And then a guy named Mark Burnett.
He's like Ric Flair, but it worked out. For those of you
that's exactly right.
There's a wrestler named Ric Flair whose character is that he's a rich playboy. In reality, he's just a dude with a bunch of debt. But since wrestling isn't like any other form of television where it's not like Ric Flair as played by, he just lives that character, and everyone's like, well, on TV he has money, so I guess he has money.
What's even crazier about Ric Flair is he basically just kept introducing his character and lore to different other media communities. Like the professional wrestling world is like, enough of him. And so then he moved over to hip hop with that stupid Ric Flair drip song, and everyone was like, this guy's awesome. And now it's like 3 years later, and they're like, yeah, it's a little too much Ric Flair, actually. And now Ric Flair's over in the podcasting world, and everyone's like, this is fun. And you could already tell that people are like, inviting Ric Flair on was a mistake. He's texted me a lot. And I feel that Donald Trump is sort of the biggest version of that, in that he is a man who wanted to be a businessman because his family was in business. He got a business to run. And he sort of was successful, but in the weirdest way, ran it into the ground, and then was made to seem like the greatest businessman in the history of America. Because the guy who created Survivor was like, we're doing Survivor, but it's capitalism. And by the way, best casting ever, Donald Trump. I watched The Apprentice when it first came out, and it made all that you were ever told is like, there was a city called New York. There was one businessman there. His name is Donald Trump. That is all we know. And then he just appeared on a TV show firing people and looked like a fucking boss with this weird blonde lady and this old lawyer. It was fucking marketing 101, baby.
Yeah. Ow. The years of just being in the tabloids paid off. And like, obviously there's a 4-part Netflix documentary where the really funny thing is where Trump gets divorced and then Donald Trump calls as someone else, and it's like he's got a very, very, very what do you call it? He's got a signature voice, and he calls up as someone else just to say, like, yeah, just so you know, Donald's getting a lot of dates and everyone wants to suck him off. Click.
First of all, it's even better is the day that it was announced in one of the newspapers. So there was two gossip columnists, Liz Smith, and then another one named Cindy Adams. And they literally, one was working with Marla and one was working with Donald. But the best thing Donald Trump ever did.
Ivana or Marla?
Pardon me, Ivana. Marla was the mistress during that divorce. 1,000 apologies, Dylan. Thank you for correcting me. We all know you're a real bitch when it comes to early 90s New York gossip.
One mistress.
Oh, correct. I mean, she was the mistress that got to be a wife. You know what I'm saying? As a very
and also he was a hot guy, rich hot guy.
Incorrect. Incorrect. Donald Trump, young Donald Trump had the body.
Fucking picture of fucking 80s
Donald Trump's
then
body.
Don't have to worry about bodies, especially in the 80s.
You and me, you'd have to worry about that. He looked like if your body and my body was combined. It's the most weird. He's so boxy.
Doesn't matter, buddy. Doesn't matter. You, as well as I know, you get above 6 feet and you have
that's true.
You get above 6 feet and you just like look like you know what you're doing, which Donald Trump has a face where it's like, for me, it comes off as man contemplating if he shit his pants. But for most people, it's like he's deep in thought.
Correct. Also, the thing to remember is he's part of New York society, and he's kind of one of those boorish characters that sort of community keeps in, because it's like, oh my God, Donald's here and he's dressed in gold. And then Donald's like, I look fucking good. And they don't understand that he doesn't know that they're kind of making fun of him and they don't respect him. And he's kind of a joke, and he doesn't care because he's using the cachet of being invited to those parties to sell himself more as a businessman. Like, it's this weird sort of situation of he's just a fucking rich kid who, much like Andrew Dice Clay and, to your point, Ric Flair, pretended to be like a mogul so long he just became a demagogue. Like, it's so fucking nuts. Like, what happens if you just never tell someone with a narcissistic personality disorder no? Well, they become the president and then get very wordy on social media. I'll tell you that much for fucking free. But I feel like we're banging on a fair amount about Donnie T.
But this is very important to say, is that he has basically Donnie T, like whatever you want to say, he's in the tabloids as a real estate mogul. That gets the attention of Mark Burnett. Mark Burnett creates The Apprentice. The Apprentice is on its last legs, and The Apprentice is incredibly important because the Apprentice being on its last legs, and Donald Trump not wanting to admit that it's basically over, is where you get this feud, and then later him becoming president of the fucking United States.
I'm going to slightly disagree on your timeline, but I agree with you. I think The Apprentice was still pretty hot at this point, because Apprentice only came out 2002, and like the first 5 or 6 seasons, big boy. They may be renegotiating the ratings. Your grander point is 100% correct. Yeah, he would constantly say, "Oh, I'm running for president," to renegotiate renegotiate various business deals, because he could just get a fucking bunch of media attention, and people didn't realize that as a currency. And while Donnie T is, of course, finger popping people in Aspen and lying to Liz Smith at the New York Daily News, who do we got? We got the queen of fucking Long Island, baby. That's right, Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell is a product of a little time in America called the 80s comedy boom. Here's what happened to Rosie O'Donnell. She was a comedian for 2 to 3 years. She then just became the face of VH1 for a while, and then was in a league of their own. And I listen, we all have struggles. We all have hard times. I'm sure it was incredibly difficult to be, and Rosie O'Donnell's childhood is fucking horrific to read about. But sometimes as a stand-up comedian, you read those stories and you want to go, why the fuck am I even fucking trying in this fucking, but yeah. I did the road for 6 months, and then a man said, would you like to come into this room where there's a bunch of careers? And I said, yep. And like, she tells that story like it was really tough. She's like, you ever been in a comedy condo one time with a shirtless man who won't talk about having sex with a waitress that you're pretty sure is dead? And I'm like, every fucking weekend, Rose, every weekend. Rosie O'Donnell then doesn't like doing movies anymore because she can't be around her kids. This is literally what she has said. So she just said, can I get a talk show? And she did. And let me say this.
Sick.
That talk show rules. Rosie O'Donnell's talk show fucking rules. She's shooting koosh balls. She's wearing all this. She wear the same thing every day. Colored open shirt, black, the clothes underneath. The perfect 90s look.
Can I say this?
Speak on it, Dylan.
Olale. I think that the real brilliance of the Ellen show was they were like, what if Rosie O'Donnell was funny?
Yeah, no.
Ellen, here's the thing. Ellen, a monster. Absolutely. But if you had a festival of well-balanced artists, and then the next day, John, you had a fucking festival called Abusive Monsters. Abusive Monsters, the lineup for that festival.
What a show.
Bro,
what a show.
Ellen's hosting a fucking bill with R. Kelly, Frank Sinatra, and Michael Jackson on it. Also, they get more the worse you are a person, the headliner.
The
headliner is Hitler.
Yeah, of course.
I will say this. All, John.
Yeah, well, listen, he didn't take any shit. That's what it says in your diary.
No, he was. You know what? Here's my impression of someone in 2023 if Hitler just started now. Well, he is a vegetarian. You know, it's like he's got one thing about him. One time he helped a guy across the street. So that's. Have you
gotten into this argument now? I don't know if this has made it to Canada, but this is a big one in the States right now, which makes me want to fucking lose my mind, which is, you speak German? We don't really know what's going on there. Like, yeah, I don't. Fuck off. Fuck you.
Oh, is this because they have an army again?
No, this was literally someone I overheard this in a cafe, which is someone went, I just don't agree with what's going on in Ukraine. And the guy went, do you speak Russian or Ukrainian? We have no way of knowing what's going on there. And I went, all right, shut the fuck up. I'm fucking done. This fucking people. But here's what it is people our age. It's people our age, Dylan, who were just pretty enough that no one went, actually, fuck you. In 2015, and now they are 39. They all have lost their hair in very odd ways, and it's very thin on top, and they are just spouting crap.
Yeah, but that's everyone. Everyone is an expert on foreign policy.
I know.
Every single person knows how to do. Someone will be like, "Do I know how to like fix this stove?" I mean, it would take 8 seconds to look it up, but no, I don't. Here's what should happen in this foreign war that's been going on for hundreds of years. Anyway, who gives a dick full of piss about? I do. What does Donald Trump have to do with foreign? Oh, wait. Anyway, Rosie O'Donnell goes on The View, does some stand-up comedy, and Donald Trump.
Oh, it's so much better.
Fucking take it. You know what I think he can't do? He's
underselling it.
Why does she get to make fun of me? She's fucking uglier than I am. She's a friggin' straight up lesbo. That's 2 strikes. You're out 15 times in DT's book, baby.
I think you're actually overthinking this. So I think what it is, and it's specifically this, is she mentioned his bankruptcies, which is a thing that he has like at this point violently fought to keep out of the news, and like would be part of the reason he was leaking gossip all the time is that would trump the story of him being bankrupt, because all those newspapers could only put one story in and no one gives a shit. I was like, all right, he's bankrupt. What do you mean he was at Studio 54 and he made all the girls come that they now speak Mandarin? I mean, that doesn't sound like that's possible, but I have to believe you. Your name is Jonald Jump.
All right, yeah. But anyway, so can we
So it's December 26th.
Surmise basically what happened.
Yes.
So Miss America, Donald Trump runs. Go for it.
He runs Miss USA, which is quite crucially, Dylan, not Miss America.
Oh yeah.
You have to remember this, Dylan. The main thing to remember about Miss USA, and I can't stress this enough, in no way is it Miss America, and in no way is the name created to be confusing so you think it's Miss America.
Did you know that the original name was Donald Trump's favorite woman? That was it. They went a date with Donald Trump and he gets to tell everyone how if they had sex, and it's always yes and it's always bad because they didn't have sex. He just wants to tell everyone they did.
Can you imagine the small talk he's having with the Miss USA pageant contestants on the side of that stage when he does the walk? And here's the owner of the pageant, Donald Trump. Oh, I just wanted to let you know that your wrist seems like it would do good for jacking. Like it would be, or it would just be weird. You seem like you play the clarinet. What the fuck? Anyway, he's Miss USA. Now, in this time, it is the Paris Hilton sex tape time. It's the time when literally Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, and Britney Spears were in a car together, and a newspaper just put up sluts as the headline, I think.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was, whoa. It was this weird time where everyone was kind of like, yeah, I'm progressive. Oh,
no, it was
I'll piss in a black person's mouth, but that's only if they're thirsty. And you're like, what's going on here, dog?
The economy was so good, they made a movie, and the only premise was it's a horror movie and Paris Hilton dies. And then they were like, Paris, any comments about everyone's fucking pumped to see you get beheaded in a movie? She's like, yeah, it's fine. Everyone hates me and calls me a whore.
It's hot. It's hot. Anyway, at this time, The View had metamorphosized from 7 ladies sitting around a coffee table to 5 ladies sitting around a coffee table, and they just yell at each other. This is also the George Bush. It is so not. This is the George Bush Iraq wartime, which was we do
Elizabeth
not talk about enough.
Hasselbeck, baby.
Here we fucking go. So from Survivor again becomes Elizabeth Hasselbeck. Elizabeth Hasselbeck is from season 2 of Australia Survivor. She is part of one of the craziest scenes in all of reality television, which they have to stand on the top of pillars, and they just have to stand there and wait. And at one point, he has snacks, and I believe it's the host's suggestion. Literally goes, "If you take out your boobs, I'll give you some peanut butter." And Elizabeth Hasselbeck, boom, gets them. I don't know if this is how this is what I remember from 28 years ago.
Well, then Jesus.
I think that this did happen. I think she. I know she got her waps out. It was wild.
So easy to tell if you are remembering correctly or incorrectly. I'm sure someone will tell us if Elizabeth Hasselbeck got out her yabos.
I'm guaranteeing got out her yabos on Survivor. It was listen. I remember all the places I was when I saw breasts and I wasn't expecting to see breasts.
Can you look this one up? Then there was a guy in Survivor who kept going into the woods, and then he got kicked off because they were like, "What's he doing over in the woods?" I think he's hiding food, but he was just going to jack off.
Oh my God, what a fucking hero! Oh yeah, oh boy, gotta tell you, this is gonna do a real number on my
What is it? Oh, was she detained and she had to show her tits and you were still like, still tits?
No, it's literally just a bunch of different scenes where it's just this one's called and censored, and it just says naked Elizabeth Hasselbeck, 24 to 26 years old, Survivor 2000. Oh, so it did happen, according to, and I can't stress this enough.
Pervert.com.
Yeah, pervert.piss.pervert.
What? So anyway, they have 5 ladies yelling at each other. Rosie O'Donnell does a bit, mentions his bankruptcies, and mentions the fact that Miss USA,
because Miss USA got caught doing cocaine and kissing ladies.
Positive for cocaine. So yes. Here is the thing about doing cocaine: it does not stay in your in your system for. So she had basically just done cocaine. I do not know what business they have drug testing someone whose whole thing is you're just standing there. Like we're drug testing people that stand there now.
I couldn't find any information as to why they're drug testing a pageant winner either.
Like, was her interview like, what do you think should be done in Afghanistan? She was like, I'll tell you what should be fucking done in Afghanistan, man. I'll tell you what should be fucking done in Afghanistan. You fucking get over there, man. I'll fucking get some McDonald's. I got some fucking investments I can make. How about me and you right now? Let's go fucking run, man. Let's go fucking run, man. Let's fucking sing. Let's dance. Let's fucking run. Can you give me the microphone back? Hell's fucking no. And they were still like, Miss USA. That was a great interview.
I guarantee that they gave her a drug test because she kept walking into rooms, pointing at people's heads and going, same page. You and me, same page.
Yeah, or just she was like, how are you doing? And she was just bleeding and going, ah!
Good. I'm good.
And I think she might be on something.
What's your favorite type
conference? Go for it.
Yes. I was going to say, what's your favorite type of person trying to hide that they're on drugs? My favorite is cocaine because it is always just like a person super sweating. You're like, you did some drugs tonight? And they're like, why would you think that I have done drugs? I have to go though.
I have a fun story.
Go ahead.
I used to do door-to-door sales for the Red Cross. So you would try and get them to give monthly, which was basically Patreon in 2005.
Yeah.
I'll go door to door and be like, hey, Red Cross, please give us money monthly. A one-off check is nice, but if you give us it monthly, like if you give us $60 now, that's great. But if you give us $5 a month, that would be fantastic. So then whatever. That's what you're doing. You're going in door to door in a Red Cross smock. And then there was another guy who I never noticed was on cocaine, but certainly our good friend and great comedian Adam Christie was like, I've never done cocaine. That man is on cocaine. And he had all these stories about like, oh yeah, I've met Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. And I was like, how the fuck did you do that? And he's like, I don't know, man, but we stayed up till 9 a.m. I was like, wow, you guys must have been really good friends at the end of that. Yeah. And then there was a lady who was like, I'll absolutely give $5 a month. And at the end, if he finishes his houses first and I finish my, he would join me to do the rest of the houses. And John, he always finished his houses very fast. He would walk just straight up across someone's fucking lawn and be like, you want to give some fucking money? And then he'd be like, what? I'm going to drive your car, man. I'm going to drive your fucking car, dude. And so anyway, he goes up and I'm at the door and she's signing the $5 a month. And I'm going, thank you very much. This is going to help so many people. Here are all the things we give our administrative fees. So I'm really trying to like, do this. And then he just goes, I got to use your bathroom. And then just walks into her house. And she's like, what? And this is like a very, very sweet woman. And I'm like, can he use your bathroom? And she's kind of like, I think he already is. And then he didn't close the door.
Why would you?
I remember that. But he just leaned over and I still didn't put anything together. I'm like, I think he's washing his hands. And then I just hear sniffing. I'm like, he's blowing his nose. And then he just comes out and he does the fucking, let's go. And he gets that out. And then he's fucking like off, like he's gone, dude. And
fuck yeah, man.
I forgot about that till we started talking about Miss USA. But yeah, he was fucking gone. And then at the end of the day, our like, and they were all like granola nerds. Like everyone was like, we have to have all of our team meetings take place during a game of Risk, which is actually all right. But anyway, he was like, where's Darren? And I was like, I got no fucking idea, man.
Yeah, man. What are you fucking thinking?
And then one time, the last day we ever saw, me, Adam, and Darren were the first people to arrive on shift, and Darren blew his nose, and the most blood I've seen that wasn't caused by a knife came out of his face, and he's like, I gotta go. And we were like, yeah, man, you gotta go. And then he disappeared, and I assume now is in the Oval Office in some capacity.
My personal favorite interaction with anyone who is addicted to a cocaine-based drug was a guy named Mike I worked at a restaurant in Montreal with. He got eventually fired for smoking crack in the public washroom. And my favorite part of the whole thing was the confrontation between him and the manager, where he would not leave until the manager acknowledged that he was a nice man for not smoking crack in the staff room. I respect my colleagues. I'll never forget. Finger in the face. I respect my colleagues. Johnny, say I respect my colleagues. You got to get out of here, man. You can't be. We already know I smoked crack in the bathroom. That's not being undone. And I've never been on the side of a guy who smoked crack in a bathroom more. Like I was like, this guy, we wouldn't have known. I don't know what crack smells like. First of all, who knows what crack smells like? You're a crackhead. If you know what crack smells like, this guy's just trying crack. Leave him alone. Also, made a hell of a fucking lasagna.
I like the idea of a guy who's on a drug where he doesn't want to eat, but he'll still make food just because it's a fucking activity.
That's what's his entire job. He would smoke a bunch of crack, and then he would literally make food for like 200 people. Not always well, and not always fast, but he was distracted because of the crack. Like, what do you want?
Can I tell you this, John? Can I tell you something?
Speak on it.
All right. Olale, check this one out. I don't think anyone under 60 should be allowed to make a lasagna legally.
I completely agree with you. I also think that
they have one woman that comes out. She can just be lying down, whatever, sitting, whatever. One senior citizen, and they're like, oh, someone ordered a lasagna. First of all, you don't get a slice. You have to eat the full one.
I completely agree.
You have to eat the full lasagna, and then the rest of it, and then it's a take-home container with the tin foil on top. You have to take it home. And she's like, yeah, I don't want, just keep the dish. I don't want it anymore. That's how it should be, goddammit.
That's exactly correct. Also, we're casseroles. What the fuck are we doing? Anyway, so
casseroles are dead now. That's a white person food that's died, John.
I love tuna casserole. You know what else I love? Weird press conferences Donald Trump gives. So Donald Trump holds a press. So this woman gets, again, not clear why she was being drug tested.
We have 4 minutes left because we do not pay for Zoom Premium, John.
Nor will we. I'm going to literally explain this. We're going to go into break and we'll come back and we'll do the feud. We got the tweets.
Perfect.
Okay. So he holds a press conference to let everyone know I will be letting her keep the prestigious crown of Miss USA bracket.
The thing I just made up.
Yeah, the thing I made up. And I gotta be totally honest with you. It's very funny. He held a press conference. Like, there's literally 2 wars going on at this time. What are we covering? Well, we're in New York, so we're not headed to the UN because of the 2 wars America's wielding. We're heading uptown to where a man with a wig sewn into his head is going to let us know that a 19-year-old is still cool to do blow. Like, what are you doing? And so he approves that. And then Rosie, as Dylan has mentioned, saw this. And her story really changes. Go ahead. Please tell me that detail. Tell that detail. Go.
Gets the name of the person who is Miss USA wrong.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Says her name wrong the whole time. Her name's Tara. He says Tara. Whole time he's like, Tara.
Tara.
Because she's like, this is her only income. And he's just like, yeah, I could have a press conference about that and hold her fucking entire livelihood in my hands.
I want to hold her responsible. She's responsible. And Rosie saw this right before the View went live. The View was live. And Rosie O'Donnell is a stand-up comedian. I know what she was doing, which was she was new to the show at the time. I think she was like a year in. And she's like, I can do an impression of Donald Trump. And she does a very funny impression of Donald Trump with a lot of energy. She at one point swooshes her hair back, which is very fun. And just basically does what has literally happened with between everyone and Donald Trump from that day until this, which is they literally are like, this guy's a fucking loser, right? And then he reacts like, I am not a fucking loser. You're a fucking loser. And then you prove he's a loser and he's like, I don't consider, like, it's just so annoying. And then Rosie throws back at him and they get into this big spat kind of before Twitter. The other thing that's very important to watch out for in the next half when we come back from the break is how her story changes from the beginning of what the fuck is Donald's fucking problem? He shouldn't be fucking the mortal arbiter. It's a 19-year-old model. She can do whatever the fuck she wants, which is totally great. But Rosie changes it to like, I'm a New Yorker. We've known about Donald being a douche for 50 years. And it's like, shut the fuck up. You didn't know that. You went to his wedding. Shut the fuck up. You didn't know that. It's okay. You didn't know that. Stop. This is the one thing that everyone from New York does is they act like they're this groupthink mind of elevated human beings just because I live in an apartment building that's excessively expensive and too high. So you know what I am? The greatest of all the world's people. Shut the fuck up. I hate American lore, pardon me, New York lore. We in New York, we've known about Donald since the 50s. I've seen that documentary too. Shut the fuck up. You have not known about him. We'll see you after the break. Oh, yes, Dylan. We are back from the break and we are getting into it. Donald Trump has held a press conference where he let everyone know that he will not be firing Tara Conner, whoever that may be. And I think my favorite part is he says, I've always been a believer in second chances. Yeah, no fucking shit, bro.
Well, it's also like the press conference is not like, it's not a big one. It's like a press conference of people he's like begged to be there.
It's a press conference. It looks like a press conference when someone goes, fuck it, I'm taping a special. And then there's 5 people here, man. This is going to be sad. Also, can I just say the Rosie O'Donnell saying, I don't enjoy him. That's a real ordering Crown Royal at a Denny's move. You know what I mean? That's a real, what does one eat here? I don't enjoy Mr. Trump. He's a little bit. All right.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's whatever. Everyone said almost everything they can about Donald Trump, but now we get into the meat and potatoes of it.
Oh, he fires back. He fires back in People magazine because you have to remember, everyone, this is before iPhone, so there's no Twitter war. This is old school ink to paper journalism where he called Rosie O'Donnell. Bear in mind, Rosie O'Donnell, host of a giant talk show / chat show, and now one of the squawking gals on The View, and he responds and calls her a real loser and a woman out of control. A real loser. That's fucking. I gotta say this. That, like, how many bankruptcies do you have? 11. Let me tell you who a loser is. This fucking fuck from Long Island with her koosh dolls and love of the Tonys.
Dude, there's a speech at him at a real estate expo, just calling her a fat pig. Like he's just calling her a fat pig.
Oh,
Where it's like, hey, let's learn about how to do real estate. Rosie O'Donnell's a fat pig. Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind, but sure.
you got to know what is farmland and what is regular city land. And if you got a fat pig on it, like Rosie O'Donnell, you're on a farm. Piggy, piggy, piggy. This is my favorite. This is my favorite one of all of them, which is 8 months later. Rosie O'Donnell and Elizabeth Hasselbeck have this like giant blowout over the Iraq War. And Trump insulted both of the hosts and took Rosie O'Donnell's side by saying, on this one, I think Rosie should win, but Rosie is not much herself. I think anybody that's against the war in Iraq is a winner. Winner of the fight, because to justify the war in Iraq, only an imbecile could do that. Calling Elizabeth Hasselbeck not a very smart person, she is one of the dumber people in television. Why isn't this guy reviewing Edinburgh Fringe shows?
My favorite is he goes on Entertainment Tonight, and Entertainment Tonight is such a like fluffy show. Like,
oh yeah,
there's never any harsh language. I would say they would say the word bad ever. Like I would term that. See, hearing the word bad on Entertainment Tonight would have been jarring. And he goes on there and calls Rosie O'Donnell a fat-headed pig and disgusting.
Yeah, like, and bear in mind, they're not like, let's look in on the Rosie O'Donnell feud. Dylan's nailed it. It's like Donald Trump's just at a movie premiere for the movie Flubber, and they literally go, and Mr. Trump, did you enjoy Flubber? I did enjoy Flubber. Do you want to know what I do not enjoy? That fat-headed pig, Rosie O'Donnell. And they're like, okay. Like, it's like, right, well, guess it's fucking nuts. And also, like, Rosie O'Donnell, by the way, is such a media figure at this moment, because in North America, in 2007, when they had that blowout, like, people lost their minds just because it was just like, it was, I think it was because, like, listen, if these two ladies are fighting, you know what the next thing they're going to do is kiss. And that is real cool. Like, it was covered more than the Iraq. Like, bear in mind, the Iraq war is going real bad at this point, and they are literally like, let me tell you, and now for an update on the war in Iraq, Rosie O'Donnell does not like it, and the lady who took out her yabos on Survivor, she likes it. Like, it's just like, what's going on, bros?
I'm just reading up a bit more on Tara Conner. Here's one of my favorite little tidbits. There's a Miss Teen USA and God. Miss USA. How much older is she than Miss Teen USA?
6 months.
3 years.
No.
She's 21, Miss Teen USA. Basically, it's like, who's lead? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who you think you know who you're talking to, but I'm Miss Just Turned Legal 2006. Yeah. It's okay to JO too, 2006.
Welcome, middle management men who have a lot of hard drives they do not want to discuss to Miss Teen USA. They are 18. And you know what that means, gentlemen? You think it's now cool to look at them.
Oh, yes. Tara Conner, obviously, it sounds crazy, but it's like these women win this thing and they basically get a sick year of doing appearances, and then it's like,
I don't think that would be sick.
Person.
You're doing appearances at Donald Trump owned properties. Like, it's not like even Miss America, like Miss America, we kind of miss this, but like a bit in the 90s, they would be like, she was Miss America, and now she's on Regis and Kathy Lee. Like, now, like, the fucking, I don't name one person who's been successful off the fucking Voice, let alone fucking Miss Teen USA.
Miss Teen USA actually is Allie LaForce is a correspondent for NBA on TNT now, and
shut the front door.
Yeah, and she gets money from her likeness being represented in video games, so
that's
she's
really
doing
good.
Very well. Tara Conner got that sick ass fucking year in where she went to the VMAs.
Yo,
you're like, oh, this is you're just hanging out. Like, she was a judge on Project Runway, which is that's a nice little paycheck. Like, you get stuff for a second, and then obviously you have to use that as a fucking jumping off point. But Tara Conner did what Dylan Gott would have done, which was just fucking get fucking partying, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not here to network. I'm here to network some fucking blow into my system, dog.
My name is Tara or Tara. I am hot. I'm gonna kiss people. I'm gonna do blow off those people. You got a fucking problem? I don't want to meet Charles Barkley. I don't fucking care.
I am Miss USA, not Miss Teen USA. Crucially, I was in school with Miss Teen USA, but 2 years ahead of them. Thank you.
Yeah. She was a fucking freshman. I was a junior. Know what that makes me? Down to fuck. Let's fuck.
Oh, God. That means I'm legal. There's legal to fuck, Miss Legal to fuck, and Miss Legal to drink. God damn it. And I'm Miss Legal to drink. Let's
now
go.
Coming in is the apology from Miss Teen USA pageant, supposedly written by Tara Connors. To whom it may concern, my name is Tara or Tara. I just want to let you know, banging is cool. People like to bang. This was not written by Donald Trump, but Donald Trump also bangs real good. He's the best at banging. Everyone knows about his banging is good.
Also, it's not problematic that the age difference.
Also, age differences are not a problem for people that are good at banging like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not. Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty much out of like Tara Connor goes, she's on third season of CMT's Gone Country.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, baby. So anyway, the Rosie O'Donnell feud goes on and on because Rosie keeps on being like very long, and this is a very key thing in a feud like this. Brevity is an asset. Donald Trump would be like, she's a fat pig and she's a loser. And then Rosie O'Donnell will say a very long thing that has actual points, but like, there's no better point than like going like, yeah, he's ugly. He looks like he's about to shit all the time. Like, Donald Trump just tries to lure people into name calling, and it works very well on Rosie because Rosie's trying to deal with Donald like he's a heckler in a club, and you can't, like I said, when he has a microphone, and also like he's just no selling everything she does.
Yeah, he's doing
anything.
He's doing the biggest douche move ever, which is you're fat and ugly. Hey, fuck you. What's with all the fucking mean aggression? And you're like, fuck. But you have to understand, like, it goes so deep. In 2011, quite crucially, Dylan, 5 years later, to the month, Rosie O'Donnell announces her engagement to Michelle Rounds. And Donald Trump took to Twitter and wrote, "I feel sorry for Rosie's new partner in love, new partner in love, whose parents are devastated at the thought of their daughter being with Rosie, a true loser." What the fuck? Now, Rosie has learned her lesson 5 years in and responds with, "Wow, you're an ass." Like, might as fucking well. Also, she linked to a Times magazine story that was not found. I don't know what she was linking to, but I assume it was hurtful.
Well, it's just like, you know what I mean? That if people have decided that Donald Trump gets to be right, like everyone makes a decision. Like, we've all had the experience of saying someone heckles you and you say something that this is the most frustrating. And this is probably what it's like to deal with Donald Trump publicly. You know what you said is funny.
Yeah.
I had an experience where I did an hour in Stratford, Ontario.
Oh, yeah.
I said something so funny and it got like a, and then I was like, we're done. I literally hit you with the hardest punch I could. And you guys were like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, now time to, and then at that point, there was like the struggling of bombing. And then just like, it's like, I assume when you drown, you're just like, let's let the waves just wash me away.
Yeah. Oh, and also, by the way, there is no bomb more fiery than the small town Canada bomb, because they're sitting there and they're not going to hoot and holler, but they're going to want to talk to you on your way to your car. They're going to
watch you.
Oh, certainly.
It's like a serial killer watching someone starve to death. Just like,
yeah. Why do you know what that's like?
I was just thinking of the movie Seven when
I'm sure you were. Sure you were. Yeah. With a glee in your eyes. Other big highlights. And can I just say this? Looking back on tweets really gives a snapshot to society. Does anyone remember when everyone was trying to get vlogging to get going? We had a couple of skirmishes with vlogging. 2011 was definitely one of them. A friend of ours definitely told me that vlogging is the future. That person was incorrect. And I bring this up because Trump tweeted, and this was, by the way, no reason to do this. He's just angry at Lawrence O'Donnell, who hosts the show. And he wrote, same last name, same bad ratings. At Lawrence, at Rosie. Just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then he goes at her talk show was terrible. She's a failure. She's a loser.
Yeah. It's really amazing. When I don't like somebody, their shows do really badly. adding that it upsets him that Rosie's show is a disaster because he loves Oprah and he wants Oprah's. This was an the OWN network was launching. Oprah was the face of it. Rosie O'Donnell was brought on to do a show. That show was not very good. But it does have a very weird interview in front of a colorful screen where her and Joe Rogan discuss 9/11 truth in a real. If we just have the tone of smart people, people will know we're smart. But they say some absolute porkers in the hat.
Woo! Rosie O'Donnell, much like we were going to do an episode on him, but like Bill Maher. Actually, I haven't looked up Bill Maher specifically, but like
we will be doing an episode on Bill Maher's Club Random. That fucking podcast is truly glorious. It is. Because I don't know if you're watching all the episodes, everyone, but I am, and I'm a wacko. And I have noticed a new thing that's developing on the show that I truly love, which is it's clearly filmed in his house, and he doesn't want people to know where his house is. But Bill Maher is such a weirdo. He keeps telling stories about his life that make him seem like a rich douche, and then be like, "But let's not give the location. I want people to know where my house is." And it's like, bro, you're fine, but also like, no one's coming to LA to kill Bill Maher. You are the like of all the celebrities, he's the HPV of celebrities. It seems like a big deal for 1 second, and then you go, oh yeah, that's the thing everyone goes through. Like, you know what I mean? Like Bill Maher, much like Rosie O'Donnell, is a product of the comedy boom where it's like this guy was here in the 80s, and he has he had a TV show where it was literally these four celebrities are going to talk and I'm going to have slick back hair. And then 9/11 came around and listen, he wasn't incorrect in saying that they're not cowards. They flew planes into buildings and we lob missiles. So who's cowardly is basically what he said. But here's the thing, Bill, don't say that the day after 9/11, bud. It was the month after, but still maybe cool it. Maybe just be like, you know what? Let's not praise the people that murdered 3,000 fucking people on television. But he was like, no. Oh, Rosie O'Donnell's the best version of that type of person, and Bill Maher's the worst. Fuck Bill Maher. We're doing a Bill Maher episode of Club Random.
Why do you think
colors?
Rosie O'Donnell is better than Bill Maher?
I like Rosie O'Donnell's personality when she appears on television more than Bill Maher. That's all I need.
Yeah, I guess they both seem as argumentative. I just haven't seen Rosie O'Donnell argue with people. It's like Rosie O'Donnell isn't as smug as Bill Maher. Not that anyone could be.
Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell is not a massive douche. Like Rosie O'Donnell's fun anecdotes are the best. Telling Madonna to put a shirt on when she's at a New Year's Eve party and Madonna just had her tits out and she was just like, what are you doing? You're a millionaire. Put a shirt on. And I'm like, I can fucking hang out with Rosie O'Donnell, no problem. I'd be like, yeah, what the fuck? Get your boobs away. There's food out, you weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, Rosie O'Donnell, I just watched the thing on Roseanne.
Oh.
Same thing type, where it's just plucked out of obscurity, where it's like, yeah, you want a thing that's the 80s, you're famous now.
Roseanne is the best one because Roseanne is this person with deep, intense mental problems and a huge brain injury from when she was a kid that went untreated for 15 years. So she was just fully crazy. So crazy, in fact, that Tom Arnold at the time was considered to be this great money grubbing dick. And now anytime Tom Arnold opens his mouth, he's like, let me tell you another story that they made me what they made me do to just keep Roseanne from making money. I had to take her to ballet lessons when she'd wake up and be like, my name's Tiffany and I'm 11. And be like, Jesus fucking Christ, eh? 8 months ago, I was doing blow in Iowa working the Comedy Works. What the fuck is happening?
There was a comedian in Canada who did that. She had the brain injury that eroded her impulse control, and it was the exact same thing, almost exactly like Roseanne. She had impulse control issues. She was she learned how to be a private investigator. She had this elaborate web of lies that and now no longer does comedy and hopefully is. But yeah, apparently I talked to her at one time and she was like, yeah, I fully thought someone was trying to kill me for a month. So I was just in the woods in Northern Ontario and no one had any way. But also it was the same thing as where you have no idea if that's true. She just kept saying things. You know what I mean? So no idea. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Here's what is here or there. Donald Trump used his strategy in dealing with this daytime talk show host making fun of him to become the president of the United States, and Rosie O'Donnell I would say unequivocally lost this feud.
100%. It also gets so much fucking crazier because Donald buries the hatchet for a while.
And then he brings it back during the Republican debates where it's like,
yes, he
you
does.
called women pigs, you've called women disgusting, and he said that was only Rosie O'Donnell.
Do you remember when that happened?
I do, and I remember two moments when I thought he won the presidency. That one, and then the one where the person asked a question, "What will you do when Hillary something? If you win with Hillary, given all you said?" And he went, "She's going to jail."
Yeah, no, it was something she
jail.
What he said was what she said. It was something Hillary said, and it was a retort, which is, and thank God a man like Donald Trump is not going to be the president. And then he went, if I was, you'd be in jail. And that was the one where I went, uh-oh. That sounded like an action movie. Oh, no. I know. By the way, people
get Hillary.
Yeah, fucking Americans get branded with this, like painted with this brush of like these fucking, like everyone was going to fall for that. I got news for you. If someone did that on UK television running to be prime minister, they would literally be like, finally, someone who's going to win us the World Cup, make him prime minister. And you just, human beings just fall for it every fucking time.
Which rules.
Anyway. His tweet, by the way, is Rosie O'Donnell had a heart attack, and he responded with, at Rosie, get better fast. I'm starting to miss you. And she responded, well, thank you, Donald. I must admit, your post was a bit of a shock. Are you trying to kill me? That's a cat, by the way, just losing its fucking mind for no reason.
That's great.
And then, of course, it's October 14. By the way, this is what the feud did not restart during 2016. It restarted in 2014, where Rosie had revealed she lost 50 pounds after doing weight loss surgery. And Rosie O'Donnell Trump tweeted, Rosie O'Donnell just said she felt shame at being fat, not politically correct. She killed Star Jones for weight loss surgery. Just had it. And it's like, what the fuck? Is Star Jones dead?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. The things he says very rarely make sense, and it's only going to get better because he's 77 years old. He's going to fucking. He's going to.
Oh my god! I've had the same thought.
People Disco Joe, and they're both going to be. It's going to be like when you see an elderly couple get into an argument where neither of them are listening to the other one. Is we good?
That debate is literally going to be Dylan. You've been at comedy clubs where? Do you remember when a guy's getting back into it? I haven't been here I've been around for about 10 years, met a girl, had a couple of kids, getting back into it. It's going to be two guys getting back into it energy. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long 4 years for both of those boys. Oh, but like one of them is going to sing a full song. How would you fix the economy, Joe? I think it's time for a little thing called My Way. As all of his Joe's giving him
My Way.
Oh my god!
That the other one did.
They both sing My Way, and then the next week he was off key. I'm in the best key.
God bless the United States of America. God bless Rosie O'Donnell. Donald Trump wins the feud. Rosie's not doing bad. I mean, they both started off as millionaires, and they certainly are both still millionaires.
Absolutely. Rosie has done real well in this, in my book, because let me tell you who I fucking watched a lot of is Rosie O'Donnell was one of those celebrities who were like, I'm bored at home during COVID. I'll be on your podcast. And boy, was she. And mostly what she talked about is how she had become pen pals with Michael Cohen, who was Trump's fixer during the feud, and had been like across getting all the data, all the information for her, on her, all that sort of shit. And like, I'm like, holy fucking, isn't that fucking nuts? Like literally, she's like now friends with the guy from the feud. So crazy. But yeah, Donald Trump solidly won the fuck out of that. Like,
yeah, there's a
older fat and then won the presidency. Can I just say this? History class, when it comes to American history in 50 years, is going to get so fucking exciting. Like, listen, they voted in a black guy. And I know you're thinking that's nuts giving American history. Strap in for who they voted directly after that guy. Like, what is up, bro? Woo!
I mean, this is the thing about the most infuriating thing for me, if I was Rosie O'Donnell, would be like, it must be when people get bullied by someone who then becomes like a UFC or boxing champ, where it's like, oh, the skills they learned bullying you eventually made them millions and millions and millions of dollars and famous. Like, that's exactly how Rosie must feel.
There are like 8 people in Dublin right now that every time Conor McGregor's face comes on a screen, this fucking guy. Like, there is no way there are not 8 guys in Dublin that just
8 is so optimistically low.
Why I'm saying 8 is, I mean, 8 guys where it's in their brain all day, every day. Just literally, if you were a psychic and you walked by them, all you'd hear is fuck, fuck, fuck.
Plus all the victims. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Our next episode was actually going to be we're going to do ones where it's like someone we don't think can carry their own episode, but also we want to do it anyway. So
yeah,
it's going to be half Shoe Nice and half Ari Shafir.
No, it's not going to be Ari Shafir. I changed it. It's going to be half Shoe Nice, half Brendan Schaub special Gringo Poppy, and the reaction.
I mean, here's my thing about the Gringo Poppy thing. I remember Gringo Poppy was put on YouTube, and I remember a thing that said 1 hour ago it was put on YouTube, and then another post that said 1 hour ago was a reaction to Gringo Poppy and how bad it was, and I was like, no matter how shit the special was, you were going to post that fucking video anyway.
Yeah. Oh, this is exactly what we're going to talk about. It is the craziest weaponization of the internet I've ever seen, because it's literally his own fans just got so turned off by this guy. It's the story's nuts. It involves a Reddit account. Bobby Lee's involved. Literally the dumbest man ever. It's what a tale.
I like how everything is just shitty gossip now. Thanks so much for listening, guys.
Everything.
We'll be back with Brendan Schaub and Shoe Nice.
Oh, and one other thing, because we will forget to plug this. We have a Patreon now. Please join our Patreon. We're cold and lonely boys, and we need money. We're stand-up comedians in 2023. We have maybe 2 years left before COVID is returned and we're put in some sort of FEMA camp and sterilized. And so before that happens, we would like to make some money on Patreon, and we will pivot hard to the right if we have to make that money. So either give us money, or I will be making wild scientific claims.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.